A chip off the old block. These are little chips of petrified wood. And progress, relationship progress with respect to the soul framework. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1599 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business, and then back and forth again. During the pandemic in 2020, realized that I really missed the offline world and that I wanted to be a part of it, as well as the online world. Now, our idiom, our expression for supersize your business. I do an idiom every day. I think we've done 1,200 and it says 1,209 on my count, but I lost 50, 40 or some of them. So let's say 1,250 different idioms. And some of them have repeated depending on the theme or the topic that we're talking about at the time in that group. So a chip off the old block I did in September of 2020 and again today because it fits with our relationship theme for the month of June this year. We're talking about relationships in the BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. So I decided that this year, to make it easier on myself and a little more consistent in my brain and my thinking, we would have an idiom that somewhat coincides, at least coincides with the area that we're focusing on for the month of the annual challenge. And it just makes it easier and it gets my brain to keep thinking more along the lines of the challenge throughout different areas and aspects of my day, not just when I'm doing the challenge, which is good for me as well as for the people that participate, because it helps me to get better results as I do the challenge because it's more top of mind. And that means I do a better job communicating different areas and aspects and things that really help us do one little thing every day that improves us. Now, even though our goal of the challenge is to do one thing every day that improves us, I guarantee that you, as well as me, are doing more than one thing every day that moves us toward what we want. Why? Because the effects of the challenge end up being cumulative. We're on month 6, it's June. We did physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, and now we're doing relationships. And so all of the work that we've done before, we've put systems and things in place to continue making progress with respect to our physical well-being, our mental, our spiritual, our financial, our emotional well-being. And now we're adding relationships. And so every month, even though we're focusing on one thing in one area and doing one specific action a day, we've already set some things in motion and put some things in place that are automatically moving us toward what we want in the other areas and aspects of our life as well. And that's the cool thing about linking up habits and having triggers and doing different things. Improving ourselves and becoming the better version of ourselves becomes automatic. So today our topic was a chip off the old block. And I talked about this a couple of years ago now, almost 2 years ago now, and talked a lot about my family and my family resemblance and how I'm like my dad and my sisters, yada, yada, and how we all are similar. But today I thought more along the lines of, seriously, we get to choose what characteristics we're going to allow to exhibit through us. We can, in our environment, and I didn't even talk about the internet and media. I meant to talk about the impact that the internet and media have on us because they're part of our environment. And right now they're such a huge part of our environment. 2020 sent millions of people home with nothing to do but homeschool their kids. If you had kids to homeschool, and the vast majority of people were not working, they were just home with nothing to do. Now, a lot of them were productive and did household projects and yard projects and things that they've been putting off, or their, bucket list things that they could do at home that they've been putting off for a long time. But millions of people also just planted themselves in front of the media, which was the intent of the COVID pandemic, to put people in a position where they could be brainwashed for hours and hours a day. And the media was designed and presented in a way to generate fear and panic, fear of one another, which is really pathetic, and a pathetic strategy. And it comes, right out of the war playbooks that the United States used to use on other countries, but are now, with Obama, it was made legal to use them on our own population, our own people, which I would consider domestic terrorism. But I'm digressing and getting off on a tangent that some people would call conspiracy theories. But I contend that if there is evidence and proof of something having happened, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact that people are hiding, or it's a an event that happened that people are covering up because they don't want the vast majority of us to know that it's going on. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is fraud, manipulation, and there's a lot of that going on. There always has been in the world, but when it's right in our face, I think that many of us are awakening and standing up and saying, no, I don't believe that. I'm not going to fall for that anymore. So very grateful that in the 1980s, I turned off the news and media, because even back then, it was no longer news. It was entertainment. And as cable and television changed and media changed and became 24/7 streaming entertainment, it just became more and more manipulative, more and more scripted, more and more da da da. Think reality TV. I find it mind-boggling that people believe that reality TV is real, not planned. It's just they throw people on an island and what happens, happens. Okay, I got this bridge I can sell you in New York City, because New York is the land of cray-crays. I think between New York and California, sometimes we just wonder. And I know there's amazing, brilliant people in both of those locations, but what the media portrays, it's just kind of heartbreaking. So today we talked about a chip off the old block. And my whole thing about, I didn't mean to get on that rant. My whole thing about the internet and media and the characteristics we choose to move forward with, the things that we inherit, either the characteristics, the behaviors, the thoughts, the feelings, and beliefs, at some point in our life, we can say, stop. Does this make sense for me in my life now? There's a lot of things I believed when I was younger that made sense for my life back then, in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and even into my 50s. In my 50s is probably when I really started questioning and saying, does this really make any sense at all? And if the answer was no, or it wasn't right for me, or it didn't feel good to me, then that's the answer for me. And my answer for me isn't going to be the answer for you necessarily, but I have to do what's right for me, and you have to do what's right for you. And guess what? We have to respect each other for that. We all get to decide and create the life we want to create here on planet Earth. And as long as that doesn't hurt other people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when you start imposing your thoughts, feelings, beliefs on other people, that is when it becomes a problem. I share what I think and what I feel about things, and you can either agree or not agree. I don't agree with everything that every person that I admire and follow and look up to and learn from believes or says. I mean, some of the stuff just makes me shake my head and cringe, but that's okay, because other things that they share are so valuable. So we take from every experience, every person we meet, everything that we come in contact with in the world, we take what is for us from that experience, and we move forward, and we leave behind the things that aren't for us, the things that don't feel right for us or don't feel good to us. So chip off the old block. I love this idiom. Heard it my whole life. Been, wow, you look just like your sister. Oh, I thought you were your sister. Oh, you look like your mom. You look like your aunt. You look like your dad. Da 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 da. Heard that my entire life. We all have. All of us girls have. It probably didn't hurt or help that my mom dressed us all alike when we were little girls, although in different colors. We all kind of had our own color scheme. And mine was pink, and I have no idea why mine was pink, because I was definitely not a pink girl. I was a tomboy. So that was our idiom for today, and I've rambled enough about that. And I guess this kind of ties in. For the annual challenge, we're talking about the SOAP framework, and as we go through the SOAP framework, we're on the P today, which stands for progress with respect to relationship. And our tool is evidence. So we're looking for evidence that the story where we are versus where we want to be, that gap is being created in terms of we're moving toward our options, and our actions are moving us toward the state that we want, the thing that we want, the relationship that we want. And I shared that the action I took yesterday kept me dead stuck exactly where I was. It didn't move me backwards, but it didn't move me forwards either. And the evidence was I found evidence of information that's old and I don't have the current information. So now I have to go back to the O in the SOAP framework, come up with different options to get at the information I need in order to contact the person I want to contact and rekindle our relationship. That's my challenge for this in my application of the SOAP framework with one specific friend for this time through the challenge in the SOAP framework. And I find myself, I just do the SOAP framework. It automatically triggers in my brain. Whenever I'm faced with a question, a challenge, an obstacle, a roadblock, a situation, something new, an event, boom, automatically on a subconscious level, unless it's a bigger deal and I need to pay a conscious attention to it. And then my brain still uses the SOAP framework to look at the situation. What is it now? What do I want it to be? What am I going to do to fill that gap? What are the options? What are the actions I'm going to take? And sometimes it all happens in like instantaneously. Boom, shoot, and I take action. Something happens and I take action. But my subconscious is still through the SOAP framework. All right. That's all I've got today. I've rambled enough. If I can help you in any way, please hit me up and ask. I have something I call like the 5-minute guarantee. I can find 5 minutes in my day to help you, to help just about anyone if you need help. And I say, if you've done your homework, if you're feeling stuck about something, usually business related, but can be other things too. I'm old, so I've had lots of life experience. But just direct message me or Voxer me. Voxer's by far my favorite. pajamagrandma@gmail.com is my Voxer handle. And if you don't know what Voxer is, Google it, because Voxer is an incredible tool that if you interact with people on a regular basis, it's really quick and easy. I would like my kids to use it, but they don't because they know I use it mostly for business. And they're like, you'll never get back. I'm like, if I get back to the people in business, I will definitely get back to you faster. And sometimes I miss my text messages. So direct message or just ask. And I guarantee that whatever you're facing, within 5 minutes or less, we can get you absolutely crystal clear on the next step you need to take. Not all of them, because most of our challenges in life are not just, actually, we usually overcomplicate and make most of our challenges way more difficult than they have to be. But we can get you moving in the direction you need to go, guaranteed in 5 minutes or less. And it's free. I don't charge anybody for that. It's my way of giving back and doing what I can do, because I know how bad it felt when I was building my businesses and I felt like I didn't have the right team put together yet and I was struggling. And I've learned that every time I'm struggling with something, it's always because I'm building it up in my mind way bigger than it has to be. And if I just have someone that I can call or ask and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing, give me your thoughts on it. I might not agree with them, but it will crystallize and help me understand exactly what I need to do next. And sometimes I'll take that next step and it's not the right thing to do, but then I learn and I know fast. Instead of spending months commiserating over what to do, I just do it and then I figure it out, right? That's how we create the things we want in our life, is by choosing and taking action. Making a decision, taking action. Make a decision, take action. See what happens. Does the result move you toward what you want? Do more of it, or tweak it, or make it better, or supersize it, but don't just stay stuck. All right, have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.